Asymmetric multiplayer games are games that, with two or more groups of players with completely different victory goals and gameplay mechanics. This video presents 5 possible design patterns for designing engaging games of this type. This type of game has been surging in popularity. Some recent popular asymmetric multiplayer games are Among Us, Dead by Daylight, and Crawl. The nature of this type of game generates specific design challenges that seek balance between the two entirely different styles of gameplay and player identity. At present, there is a lack of theory on how to approach the design of a balanced game. Some studios try to solve it technically by employing data scientists and making use of artificial intelligence, yet this implies high costs in game development. Game development studios in Australia, being of a relatively small size, may not have the budget to approach the problem of asymmetry in that way. This research aims to evaluate some existing asymmetric multiplayer games by formal analysis. The 4 major subjects under study are Secret Hitler, Among Us, Dead by Daylight, and Identity V. These games are picked because they are published on a variety of platforms including board game, PC, and mobile games. This video presents 5 possible design patterns arising from a formal analysis that attempts to summarize engaging asymmetric multiplayer games from a design perspective. The first pattern is the asymmetry in player numbers between the two groups of players. It is observed in many asymmetric multiplayer games. For example, in Dead by Daylight and Identity V, there are always 4 survivors against 1 killer for each game. Some other examples are Crawl, Friday the 13th, Nemesis Realms, and Secret Neighbor. And the number of players in the majority group tends to decrease over the playtime. This asymmetry contributes to the unique experiences in gameplay for both groups of players. The majority group enjoys the social interaction, while the minority group enjoys the satisfaction of eliminating other players one by one. The second pattern is asymmetry in players' power among the two groups of players, which means one group of players are more powerful than the other group. In Among Us, the imposter can limit the mobility of the crewmates by shutting some of the doors, while the crewmates have nothing to do with the imposter's mobility. It is also observed in many asymmetric multiplayer games that only the killers can kill the other players, while the opposite group of players cannot. This asymmetry makes the game engaging to both groups of players by creating challenges, something that the players are always looking for in their gameplay experiences. The third pattern is to create uncertainty with hidden information. Quite a lot of asymmetric multiplayer games make use of hidden information to create uncertainty to the opposite group of players. For example, in Among Us, Secret Hitler, Secret Neighbor, and Dixit, the game design has made use of hidden information to make the other group of players stay alert throughout the gameplay. This pattern is also found in Dead by Daylight and Identity V, but manipulated differently. Uncertainty has been discussed as a primary factor in play in games which add fun to the games. The fourth pattern is to allow the evolution of strategies with hidden information. In Among Us, the imposter usually makes use of their secret identity to give false information in a discussion and try to cause the elimination of innocent players and increase their chance of victory. Same pattern is observed in Identity 5 in some other asymmetric multiplayer games. One of the common consequences of the aforementioned development of strategy is that the social interaction among players is promoted. Multiplayer games that engage their players with rich social interactions are considered as good multiplayer games. Last but not least, the last pattern is to make good use of time element. In Among Us, Identity 5, and Dead by Daylight, it takes time for the survivor groups to complete certain tasks, which allow time for the killer group of players to kill them. While there is a cooldown period after the killer player have used the ability to provide a time frame for the survivor players to take any actions needed. Good utilization of time also contributes to the development of strategies among players, which make the games more engaging to the players. Hope these patterns can provide insight for designing asymmetric multiplayer games.